Rabbi.
Okay, so we are in the middle of this topic of Pi Tikra Yered V'Soisim. We're right in the middle of this sugya, this Talmudic dialogue of Pi Tikra Yered V'Soisim. That the edge of the roof, can we consider that a wall? Do we consider that a wall? And this, of course, is not based on human logic. It's based on a halacha l'maisha Sinai. It's based on a halachic ruling from that was given to Moshe, that there are certain uh, options, certain ways of considering something a wall according to halacha. Halacha can view certain things as walls. And this does play a role, I would say, more in Hilchas Eruvin, which really has like specialists. You have specialist rabbis who deal with Eruvin. Eruvin is like a field of its own. You need to be a specialist in order to deal with Eruvin. But this is a discussion and a topic of discussion in the Gemara there in Eruvin, of course, in Halacha as well. And getting back to Ezra's question of yesterday about the Pitikra Yod V'Seisim, that we don't say in the when there is a mavui mafulish. So Ezra had asked, what about if it's mavui mafulish means if it's a walkway for everyone to walk through? What happens if you make a certain walkway within that? Would that limit? Would that permit? Would that make a different ruling if you had a certain way of people that's sort of like meant for people to walk through, so it would not make the entire area a walkway? Maybe that could work. So I really need to ask an expert in Eruvin. And I do have a friend who's, I believe, an expert. Rabbi Weberman's son uh, is one of the experts here in Florida. So I guess I could give him a call and just ask him to answer your question, Ezra. So I'll try to do that today. But in the meantime, we were learning this Gemara about Pitikra Yod B'Seisim, if we could use that regarding Sukkah. Now, what is the scenario? What's the case? So the case, the case that we've been talking about is a case where you have a ledge going around apartment buildings that are like a ches-shaped apartment building, and you have this ledge going around all the apartments. So just imagine you have like this strip, this building that's like that's a strip that goes around three directions. It's got an let's say a north side, a south side, and a east side. So you got these three directions that this building is shaped in. It's, so call it a ches, the letter ches, the Hebrew letter ches, and it's shaped in that way. And each doorway of this apartments, they're all the apartments are on the same, the same. In this, you enter them from the courtyard, and there's a ledge above all the apartments. So you got this ledge like an awning that covers all the apartments. So now you have an awning that's also shaped like a ches. And the question is, can you just put schach from one awning on the north side to the south side? You want to just put your bamboo sticks, let's say, from one side of the awning to the other, and you put it all along the entire area. You have three walls because you have the walls of the apartment building. All of those are walls. Now, the Gemara's case is a problem, because the problem is that the walls are more than 4 cubits, or they are 4 cubits, which ruins it, or more, 4 cubits or more from the courtyard area. The ledge takes up too much space, and therefore there's too much of a separation between the walls of the apartment and the schach, the kosher schach. It's 4 cubits or more. So here we have this new law that we just learned. It's called Pi Tikra Yered V'Seisim. That could be that the edge of the ledge is going to be considered a wall. Rashi learns that it has to be thick. It has to have a thickness, maybe like a tefach, a handbreadth, and it has such a thickness, it can be considered like a wall. We see that edge, and that edge will be considered like a like a wall. And now, so what do you have now? You actually, if you consider that a wall, you'll have a wall around your kosher schach because you've got the bamboo sticks all going from one end to the other of the on the ledge, and the ledge itself is the wall. The edge of the ledge is the wall, so the wall goes right up to the kosher schach, and this should be, this is the way at least Abaye says could work. So it's called, the Hebrew is called an achsadra she'ein la petzimin, an achsadra that doesn't have poles. The ledge doesn't have any poles on at that end, but we're imagining that it has a wall. It doesn't have poles. It's ein la petzimin, but we are imagining that it has a wall. At least Abaye says it's kosher. Now Rava says it's not kosher. Now, in the beginning, in the understanding of the initial understanding of the Gemara, which is where the Gemara mentions this debate, Abaye and Rava, and then it says maybe this is similar to another debate, Rashi tells us that the logic, what's the logic? Why should you say Pi Tikra, or why shouldn't you say Pi Tikra? So Rashi says that the understanding is that since there is no walls at all that are visible, therefore, according to Rava, you cannot say Pi Tikra Yerid B'Saisim. The reason of Rava is, if you say Pi Tikra, you could do it at one wall, at two walls. You want to do it at all three walls? No, that you can't do. That's the way, at least in the beginning of the Gemara, that's the way Rashi explains it. And the Rashi that I'm referring to, if you want to look it up, it's the Rashi Lema. Lema Abaye v'Rava, where the Gemara is asking that Abaye and Rava should hold like Rav and Shmuel. At that point, so the Gemara's understanding is Rava's reason why you shouldn't. In other words, this is a halacha l'maisha Sinai. How do you not say this rule of Pi Tikra Yerid V'Saisim? This is a law given to Moses at Sinai. So so Abaye sounds logical. It sounds like it should work. Logical meaning based on the fact that we have such a halacha l'maisha Sinai. So Rashi explains that, well, Rava's reasoning is that, yeah, you could say Pi Tikra Yerid B'Saisim, but we're not going to say it when you got no walls. When you have one wall or two, you want to add a wall, you want to add two walls, that we could do, but not all three walls. And the Gemara compares this to another argument of Rav and Shmuel. And Rav and Shmuel's argument is where you have this achsadra with no walls. At least that's the way Rashi is learned. It's an achsadra on a bika. And bika, which basically, it means a valley, but a valley basically means like a field. I mean, there's no building next to it. And you want to consider it usable to carry. You want to be able to carry it in that area for Shabbos. So what do they say? It's an argument between Rav and Shmuel. So you have this, you have some type of a frame, because you got a roof and just some poles basically holding it up. So you got like a frame of this portico, and with no walls. So can you use that for Shabbos? Is that doable? So we have an argument, Rav and Shmuel. What does Rav hold? Rav says you're allowed to carry. Shmuel says you're not allowed to carry, only 4 cubits. So Shmuel is basically saying we do not say Pi Tikra Yerid B'Saisim. We don't say it here. We don't say that the edge of the wall can be considered a wall. The edge of the ceiling could be considered a wall. But Rav says you could say it. And you'd be allowed to carry in the whole area. Now, again, Rashi adds this understanding, which is based on the Gemara in Eruvin, that the logic is, the reason why you don't say it is because there's no walls at all. That's why Shmuel says you can't say it. But if it would have one complete wall, then you could say P tikra yerd v'saisim. If you want to do all four walls like that, no. But if you would have a solid wall, then he says you could do it on the other walls. The other walls you could do P tikra yerd v'saisim. So the Gemara thinks that these two arguments should be the same. So again, think about the logic behind it. The halacha l'maisha misinai is you say P tikra yerd v'saisim. So by Sukkah it should work, and by Shabbos it should work. There's a rule. P tikra, the edge of the ceiling, goes down. It's considered a wall. Why don't you say it? Well, both cases we've got rabbis who say you can't say it. Rava says you don't say it in the case of Sukkah, and Shmuel says you don't say it in the case of Shabbos. And the reason for both of them seems to be the same, because you're trying to do P tikra on every single wall. No, you need to at least have one wall. You want to do it on the other walls, okay. You want to use this imaginary wall on the other walls, no problem. But you can't do it on all the walls. That's the way, at least in the beginning, that's the way it seems to the Gemara understands the comparison. Then the Gemara says, but you can't connect these two arguments. And that's really where we are up to. Now, there was one little